G'day guys, welcome to my Nrl Round feature video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about NRL's Round 10 predictions for 2022 guys, so let's get started. So starting off with our first game of that match, we see the Bulldogs going up against the Newcastle Knights. Now, 15th going up against 16th, low for that match. This one's not going to be as great of entertainment because obviously the Newcastle Knights haven't been too good. They've been struggling so much. They haven't really gotten any chance of winning at all. The Newcastle Knights have lost Jack Johns, I think, due to a shoulder injury. They've also dropped Braden Musgrove also too. So no, basically, there's no, still no changes for the others. So for the Bulldogs, still no change. So same thing as was last week. Aaron Sharp goes into that number 3 side, and you got Josh Addo-Carr still goes onto that number 5. So this one's going to be really tough and really hard. I hate to think that if this game's going to be really tough in this game, it's going to be this one because it's not going to be really good entertainment of football. It will be a shocker. It will be not great. But the Newcastle Knights haven't been too good. They're sitting on 16th position, wooden spoon, on a ladder, and this one hasn't been their type of season. So, yeah, in this game, I'm going to go with the Bulldogs by 12 points in this game. Will be a very tough one, but yeah, Bulldogs by 12. The next game of that match, we see the Seagulls going up against the Broncos. Now that game is going to be another tough game. The Broncos have been they've been alright, but not really good as I presume. But in this game's going to be real tough. I just think that how the way their style of form would be, it will be very hard to see that this game will pan out. But it will be tough for obviously the Broncos because obviously Adam Reynolds, I think I would say, going up against like Daly Cherry Evans in that match. So obviously you would have the 3 Trbojevic brothers, Tom, Jake and Ben. So Tom, Jake and Ben will be playing in that match. So hopefully it will be a very good game by the Manly Seagulls. Hopefully you guys make a very good win. Because obviously Tom Trbojevic is a really good player also too. So is Daly Cherry Evans. When he basically wants to play. That's what I presume. But in this one, the Manly Seagulls have a really good record against the Broncos, and every time every time these two clash together, the Manly Seagulls get the job done, but not by a big margin anyway, so not by a big scoreline. So I recommend in this game, the Broncos, they will go alright, but I just don't think they'll win, so I could see the Manly Seagulls winning this one by 12 points in this match. So yeah, I reckon Manly Seagulls by 12 points. The Broncos will go good, but not enough to concede a very good win against the Manly Seagulls. The next game of that match, we see the Warriors going up against the Rabbitohs. Now this one's going to be another tough game. The Warriors, they've been, how will I say it? They've been alright. They've been going pretty good in last week's match against the Sharks, but obviously for them, They haven't been going too consistent. But for the Rabbits, no Cameron Murray, which that means Jai Arrow goes into that number 13 side of the lock, replacing Cameron Murray on that jersey anyway. So that's only the change that has brought up. So yeah, still no Latrell Mitchell, which only means that Blake Taaffe goes to the number 1 side again. Still, I'm not too sure when Latrell Mitchell will be back and to return. But yeah, that's a conclusion that I need to see and find out. But obviously in that game, the Rabbitohs, they've been going alright. They've been pretty consistent with, like, obviously, like Damien Cook. You've got like Alex Johnston, obviously Blake Taaffe, as I mentioned before. Jai Arrow, basically, like, yeah, Lachlan Elias. But since they had a very big loss last week against the Broncos, they've been really, like, too consistent. But I reckon the Rabbitohs will get the job done by 18 points against the Warriors. The next game of this match, we see the Titans going up against the Dragons. Now, this game will be another tough game. No Will Smith and no Patrick Herbert. So that means Jermaine Asako goes to that number 5, and he got what was it? What was his name? I just had it just now. Played for the West Tigers and played for the Cowboys. I can't remember actually, but I know he is on number 4 replacing Patrick Herbert. But then you got AJ Brimson going to that number 6, replacing Will Smith into that side anyway. So yeah, those are only 2 changes, and obviously Jane Campbell going into that number 1 side also too, obviously swapping for AJ Brimson. But yeah, anyway, as I recall, AJ Brimson has been pretty good, pretty solid. But the Titans, they haven't been getting on top of their form at the moment. And going up against the Dragons, it's not going to be a very tough game. I reckon it'll be one easy game. But the Dragons, they've been alright in the season, which only means that still no Tyrell Sloan. They're probably not getting him to play anymore. So obviously you see Moses Mbye going into that number 1 side. Excuse me. But Moses Mbye has been really good so far, but at the moment though, when they had a big loss against the Melbourne Storm last week, they need to pick up their A game against the Titans, because this one for them, they had a pretty big loss. So yeah, I reckon they will need to jump up and basically pull their socks up, stay on their A game, be on their form. But anyway, I'm going to go with the Dragons by 8 points in this game. No, actually 10 points in that game. So I reckon this one will be a very tough game for that win anyway. Next game of that match, we see the Storm going up against the Panthers. Now, grand final rematch this is. Absolute killer. This one will be a very blockbusting game. Wow, do I see some effort into these 2 teams. These 2 sides are very hard to beat. Obviously, they're very tough. They've been very solid, and they've been very tight. This one will be a very exclusive game, I would have to say, but this one will be disappointing for the Melbourne Storm, as they do not have Remus Smith and Ryan Papenhuyzen. That means Nick Meaney goes in that number 1 side, replacing Ryan Papenhuyzen, and then Marion Seve goes to that number 3, and then Dean Eremai goes to that number 2, replacing basically Marion Seve in that side. But yeah, anyway, yeah, the Panthers at the moment, last week against the Parramatta Eels. They've been solid on top of their form. I was there last week vlogging that game, so go check it out. It's up on YouTube, so go check it out. I've done that with Entertain House, so yeah, if you go check that out, they'll be awesome and brilliant. But the Panthers, they've been on top of their form lately, as I did mention, with obviously Cleary and Jerome Luai. This one will be a very tough game, as I presume, but this one will be very tight. This one will be a very hard game, and this one won't be a big scoreline in that match. I do see this one making a really good effort by the Panthers. I do reckon the Panthers will make a really good win. Hopefully they do. I could see them win, and I reckon I'm going to go with the Panthers by 6 points in that match, and I'll only just win by a try to make it a winning effort in that game. The next game of that match, we see the Sharks going up against the Raiders. Now, this game will be a very tough one, as I presume. The Sharks have been very top of their form. They've been another solid team that, as I mentioned about the Panthers and the Melbourne Storm. This one will be a very tough game, and Raiders, they've been very sloppy lately, and I do see this one on top of their form, but the Raiders need to aim up in their defence and their attack, because at the moment they're not being consistent and they're not being playing on their form. I do see this one making a very good effort by the Sharks. They've been really good so far. I do see that. I do see the Sharks improving in their season, but saying for that, Nicho Hynes will be going into that number 1 side for fullback, replacing William Kennedy, as he has been suspended due to the high shot clotheslined Reece Walsh in that game. And then no Jesse Ramian, which that means Connor Tracy goes to that number 3 side, replacing Jesse Ramian in that side. So yeah, that one will be a very hard game. But Nicho Hynes, he's been very good. He usually plays, like, as I presume, he did play for the Melbourne Storm, and he's been playing like very good. I could see him making a very good effort. And then obviously you got Matt Moylan goes into that number 6, so swapping for Nicho Hynes anyway. So that one will be a very good game. I do see the Raiders making a very good effort. Hopefully they do. I reckon they would, but not by a long shot. So I do see this one being a very tight game. But I'm going to go with the Sharks by 18 points in this one, and I reckon the Raiders will have a good game, but not enough to concede a very good win against the Cronulla Sharks. The next game of that match, we see the Roosters going up against the Parramatta Eels. Now, this one will be another tough game. Connor Watson goes to the number 9 side, replacing Sam Verrills. That will be a very tough one for him. Obviously, Connor Watson, he's been playing good for the team. Since he did play for the Newcastle Knights, I reckon he will have a very good season for the Sydney Roosters. But for the Roosters, they haven't been very consistent lately. But I do see the Roosters making a very good effort. But in saying that, like, you need to have Sam Walker, you need to have James Tedesco, you need to have Luke Keary. Without them, there is no Roosters at all. And plus, like, Joseph Manu. Obviously, in that one, without them, no Roosters at all, and they will drop down below in the coming season. So, in this game, for the Parramatta Eels, they're being very good so far. Last week against the Penrith Panthers, only won by 2 points in that game, so I do see them making a very good effort if the Roosters struggle in that game. But let's hope the Parramatta Eels make a very good win, and hopefully they make the job done, because they obviously beaten the Melbourne Storm and the Penrith Panthers in the coming season. So hopefully if they make a win against the Sydney Roosters, I reckon they will. So I'm going to go with the Parramatta Eels by 10 points in that game, and I reckon they will get the job done against the Roosters in that match. And finally, the next game of that match, we see the West Tigers going up against the Cowboys. Now, this one will be another epic game. The Cowboys, or actually the West Tigers, they haven't been really consistent enough, but they're trying their best, I know for a fact. But I just don't like Luke Brooks. He's just not a first-grade player at all. Every single time he plays, he just doesn't really make an effort for the players that really improve for their club. But I hate to say this, but Jackson Hastings, he's been pretty solid lately. He's been improving, trying to improve for the West Tigers, and obviously you need that spark and talent for their club, basically in that move. So hopefully, I reckon he will do good for the club. Jackson Hastings, you're a really good player anyway, so I do credit you for that. No, but yeah, I just think that Luke Brooks isn't a first-grade player. He just doesn't really get the job done right. He's just not. He's not $1 million man. He's not a very good player at all. And I hate to think that. I know for the West Tigers fans, it's not going to be right for them just if I say that. But yeah, I just feel so sorry for the West Tigers. They are obviously struggling, so yeah, I do feel sorry for them. But anyway, the Cowboys, Chad Townsend, Tom Dearden, Scott Drinkwater, and obviously Hamiso Tepuai-Fidow. Hamiso Tepuai-Fidow goes to that number 14 side, replacing, or basically goes to that 14 side. No change for that. So yeah, this one will be a very good game. Obviously, as I did mention about the players for the Cowboys, they are playing anyway, so Cowboys will make the job done, and this one will make a very good, easy win. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys by 12 points in that match. Thanks guys for watching my video, guys. So stay tuned for more. We're doing a couple of videos coming to you guys soon. Also doing more videos coming to you guys soon, so stay tuned for more. Please leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and for this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video. So then, take care guys, stay safe, never go on. Plus let's get up to 300 subscribers, sitting on 254 anyway. So let's get up to that, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.